Imagine waking up each day feeling completely grounded, unaffected by others' opinions, setbacks, or even failures. Picture yourself no longer drained by comparison or caught up in endless thoughts about what others think of you. Instead, you move through life with quiet confidence, focused solely on your own growth and inner peace. What if you could feel like that? What if the secret to a life of calm, resilience, and purpose lies not in trying to change the world around you but in finally learning to focus on yourself? In this video, we'll dive into the timeless principles of Stoicism and how, by shifting your focus inward, you can unlock a whole new way of living, one where you're empowered, resilient, and truly at peace. Stay with me as we explore how a few powerful shifts in perspective can make all the difference. In today's fast-paced world, we are bombarded by distractions and encouraged to measure ourselves against others. Social media, workplace competition, and even our relationships can push us to focus outward, constantly comparing ourselves, worrying about others' opinions, and measuring our worth by external benchmarks. However, an ancient philosophy offers a different, counterintuitive perspective. Instead of fixating on the outside world, we should focus on ourselves. This idea of focusing inward aligns with Stoicism, a philosophy founded on self-mastery, rationality, and resilience. By concentrating on our own minds, behaviors, and actions, Stoicism teaches us that we can achieve peace, fulfillment, and even genuine success. Stoicism is an ancient Greek philosophy that developed in Athens in the early 3rd century BCE. Philosophers like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca emphasized that happiness and tranquility are rooted not in external circumstances but in our internal attitudes and perceptions. Central to Stoicism is the idea of distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. According to Stoics, we have control over our beliefs, desires, and actions but not over events, others' opinions, or outcomes. Focusing on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses, is the path to inner peace. This focus on self-control and self-reflection encourages us to stop worrying about others' thoughts or external events and instead direct our energy towards self-improvement. When we internalize this principle, we allow ourselves the freedom to grow, unencumbered by external validation or the need for approval. Modern culture is deeply rooted in comparison. Social media platforms are designed to foster comparison, subtly encouraging us to stack our lives against carefully curated images of others. Stoicism, however, teaches that comparison is unproductive. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in his Meditations, "It never ceases to amaze me, we all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." By focusing on ourselves, we can shift our mindset away from comparison and concentrate on what matters, our own growth, progress, and well-being. In Stoic philosophy, this is known as living in accordance with nature, which means aligning our lives with rational purpose and our own personal standards. When we're committed to our journey, others' successes and failures lose their power over us, and we can better appreciate their achievements without feeling diminished by them. Focusing on oneself in the Stoic sense doesn't mean indulging in self-centeredness. On the contrary, it involves rigorous self-discipline and a commitment to virtue. Stoics believe that true freedom and fulfillment come from cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Self-discipline helps us become less reactive, which is crucial in maintaining peace. Instead of being swayed by fleeting emotions or impulses, we practice restraint and deliberate action. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, believed that desires and fears are self-imposed obstacles that we can overcome by focusing inward. When we master our desires, we gain a level of control that others' opinions or events cannot easily disrupt. To practice this kind of discipline, try setting a daily goal for yourself, whether it's exercising patience, restraining from overindulgence, or simply practicing gratitude. Focusing on achievable, consistent habits that reinforce your values will strengthen your sense of self, making it easier to withstand external distractions. Stoicism encourages us to view obstacles as opportunities for growth. Instead of seeing challenges as sources of stress or frustration, we are taught to consider them as chances to practice resilience and patience. Marcus Aurelius put it succinctly, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This line captures the essence of the Stoic approach to adversity. When we encounter setbacks, instead of blaming external factors or others, we can turn inward and ask, "How can I grow from this experience?" By focusing on what we can learn, rather than what we cannot control, we gain a sense of agency and strength. This shift in perspective can have a profound effect. We become more resilient and adaptive, capable of facing life's inevitable ups and downs with grace. A core Stoic practice is daily reflection, taking time to examine one's thoughts, actions, and intentions. In our busy lives, it's easy to neglect this practice, but setting aside time for solitude can be transformative. Solitude allows us to connect with our inner selves, reevaluate our goals, and measure our progress. Marcus Aurelius would often reflect on his day in his journal, asking himself whether his actions aligned with his values. This practice allows us to take a step back, analyze our behavior, and identify areas where we can improve. In solitude, we can confront our weaknesses honestly and work on strengthening our virtues without the distractions of others' judgments. In a world that pushes us toward constant social interaction and validation, embracing solitude can feel uncomfortable. But this discomfort is precisely why it's valuable. By developing comfort with being alone, we cultivate self-sufficiency, and our sense of self-worth becomes less dependent on external feedback. When we commit to focusing on ourselves, we liberate ourselves from the expectations and judgments of others. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher and former slave, emphasized that true freedom comes from within. He argued that no one could control our thoughts or our responses unless we allow them to. By choosing how we interpret events and how we respond, we gain a level of freedom that no one can take away. This focus on inner freedom doesn't mean withdrawing from society or ignoring others. Rather, it means that our actions and decisions are no longer swayed by others' opinions or societal pressures. Instead, we act out of our own principles, grounded in our own values. Paradoxically, this inner freedom often makes us more compassionate and understanding toward others because we're no longer acting from a place of insecurity or neediness. Gratitude is a vital Stoic practice. By focusing on what we already have rather than what we lack, we cultivate contentment and reduce our dependence on external validation. Stoics remind us to appreciate the present moment and the things we often take for granted. Epictetus advised his followers to recognize the value in what they already possess, stating, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not but rejoices for those which he has." Additionally, Stoicism embraces the acceptance of imperfections, in ourselves and in the world around us. We are encouraged to strive for self-improvement, but Stoics understand that perfection is unattainable. Rather than obsessing over our flaws, we focus on incremental improvement, treating ourselves with compassion as we work on becoming the best version of ourselves. While Stoicism emphasizes focusing on oneself, it doesn't advocate for isolation or indifference toward others. Rather, Stoics believe in forming strong, meaningful relationships based on mutual respect and virtue. When we focus on cultivating our own virtues, we bring our best selves into our relationships. By being grounded and self-sufficient, we avoid putting undue expectations on others or relying on them for our happiness. This Stoic approach to relationships encourages us to support others without losing ourselves in the process. When we no longer seek validation or approval from others, we become better friends, partners, and family members, providing support without strings attached. Relationships rooted in this mutual respect are often stronger and more resilient because they're not based on dependency but on a shared commitment to personal growth. When you focus on yourself, you start to see life through a lens of inner strength, peace, and resilience. By aligning your life with Stoic principles, self-discipline, gratitude, acceptance of imperfection, and meaningful relationships, you build a foundation for long-term fulfillment. You become more resilient in the face of challenges, more at peace in solitude, and more compassionate toward others. Your journey becomes less about external achievements and more about the inner rewards of self-mastery and tranquility. As you focus on yourself, you'll find that you no longer need the validation, approval, or even understanding of others to feel complete. The result is a newfound confidence and freedom. You'll discover that inner peace and happiness aren't found in others' opinions or worldly success but in your own growth and journey. In a world that constantly pulls us in 100 directions, Stoicism reminds us of the power of focusing on what we can control, ourselves. When we focus on ourselves and practice self-mastery, we create a life rooted in purpose, resilience, and inner peace. The ripple effects of this choice can transform not only our lives but also the lives of those around us, as we become a source of stability, kindness, and integrity in an ever-changing world. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.